I lived how I died. Wearing the shape-shifting bustier, I purchased the age-defying elixir. I served the children no preservatives. I paid the gardener. I went to the pharmacy. I grew the windowsill herb garden. I waxed my lip. I cooked from scratch. I cut off my pinky toe to fit in my shoes. I watered the hydrangeas. I brought my neighbor her mail. On long walks, I wore those butt-lifting sandals Oprah told me to wear. I hid the money. I packed the lunches. I laid at the foot of the steps. I screamed. I looked through the phone. I ordered the silverware. I spied on the children in the good parent way. I portioned out my laxatives. I lived how I died. Every day became louder. I didn't want to be known. I wanted to stop all the care I acted with in my hands. I fantasized about selfishness and silence. I was tired of loving others. At night, I would wonder. I would lay awake at night whispering to myself, I wish I had one real thing in my life. In my nightgown, looking up at the ceiling fan, counting the turns. I lived how I died, with a pure sense of wonder. I wonder what it's like to be famous. I wonder what that girl feels like. I wonder who is staring back at me in the mirror after I stood there for hours, it seems, talking to my reflection, saying things like, this is me, that is you. I repeat my name over and over. I ask my reflection, why are we here? I tell my reflection, these are my hands, and why can't I move? I repeat my name, move my hand, and ask the mirror, why is this my name? What are the chances of this being me? Why was I given this name? And what is my purpose? After a while, something beautiful happens. I do not recognize myself. I do not feel like myself. I begin to wonder, is this my higher self? The person obstructed under the wants of others? The person untouched by children, love, and age? That's when I became suspicious of all this. God scam. I know my eyes are the window to my soul. I once was lost. I would run from the mirror, wash dishes, paint my nails. But now I'm found. My body is a prison, and it doesn't scare me so much because I will claw my way out. How, you ask? Clawing my way out with my higher self clenched in my jaws. Firstly, I've been making my own sense of things lately, as you can tell. After the whole mirror birth, so my plan, it's kind of like karma with a twist. I can attract situations into my life. So can you, if you truly want. Don't believe me? Before I had these lips, they came to me in a dream once. I saw them on my dream face, and I thought, yes, that's what my soul wants. Do you know what your soul wants? Do you want to know what your soul wants? Because you can. But right now, you're probably thinking you can't. What percentage do you believe in yourself? How about you? Or you? Or you? What about you back there? Do you want it? To reach out and grab what's yours? Because you can. Because you can. Stop thinking you can't. Do not do that. Do not worry about fitting in because you are custom made. And guess what, baby? The light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole. And little known fact, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. L-I-V-E-Z. Take a deep breath. Today, now, the past. Who? Some people, well, they visit my past more than I do. And guess what? I don't live there anymore. Guess what? I sold the building. You get to write your story. I get to write my song. I want you to imagine yourself getting what you want. Getting what your heart wants. Okay? Now reach out in front of you and touch it. Okay, now grab it really fast. Hurry before it gets away. Okay, you grabbed it. That's good. That's good. We are manifesting. Now that we have what we want in our grasps, I want you to kiss it, love it, lick it, shove it, never let it go. Baby, that's your dream. Baby, that's your dream. Kiss it, lick it, love it, shove it, never let it go. Baby, that's your dream. Baby, that's your dream. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. The timid approach to risk. What happens if this? What happens if that? When? Newsflash, it's already happening. The minute you were born, it got risky. And let me tell you, wait till you see the cost. Because it's going to cost all of us. It's going to cost us things we can't even imagine. And I want to know, I don't know if I want to live long. But I long to live. And when you look out the window, do you see the sunset or the specks of dirt on the window? Because that will say a lot about who you are and what you want and what you're willing to do. And I bet the people here are thinking, who is this person? Where did they come from? They don't know me. They don't know who I am, what I feel. I live in New York. Well, actually, I do. I do know you because I also worked at a taco restaurant just like you and you and you. And you may all not remember it, but we all worked at the same taco restaurant. Remember that day in early July when the heat index was 104 and we had to refill the water dispenser. So we were lugging these heavy water buckets outside and everyone in line was watching us and we're also sweaty too. And half the menu was in Spanish, so people have a really hard time understanding what they're ordering. And a woman in line, mid-50s with red curly hair, asked us if the chicken was spicy. And we said at the exact same time, "Ma'am, that's the spiciest taco on the menu." Remember that happened because we're all connected. And I still think about what you looked like at sunset when we were bussing tables and you spilled ceviche juice on your shirt. So I spilled ceviche juice on my shirt so you didn't feel alone. I love you. I love all of you. And I never want you to feel more alone than you want to, okay? All I can really leave you with is don't choke on your own regret. We are headed to the promised land. Thank you and congrats, Matia.
Yes.
Woo!
Woo!
Well, I don't even know where to start. Let's see. Okay, so I printed, I have it on a doc, I have it on my phone. Didn't know what was normal. Okay. I told my therapist I started surfing. He's African. He told me he was afraid of water. Mom is afraid of water and cats. Cats are afraid of water. I love water. Neither of my parents can swim. Black people weren't allowed in public pools in the US until the mid-1960s. Black people were stolen and placed on ships that move across water. Women jumped off of the ships and had unborn babies who formed an underwater community called Drexia. Drexia is a music duo that made techno about Black life underwater. They're from Detroit, Michigan. Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. Who's to blame? In Sierra Leone, they sell water in baggies. We buy a bunch. Hazel doesn't like LA water, neither does z.No. It tastes pretty fine to me. Mom buys bottles of water from Walmart in bulk. Haram. White people love to say it's bad to use bottled water. I'm not saying it isn't, but I just don't want to hear it from them. In Sierra Leone, they burn trash. I love the smell. White people probably think it's bad to burn trash too. Who knows? I'm tired. What else? Oh. Okay. I'll do this even though it's bitchy. Okay. So, tender terrorism, dogs as accessories, the Paris effect, stuffed animals for rich kids, adult children, super rich kids by Frank Ocean. I learned what cute was with my cat Linda. She died by getting hit by a car yesterday. Death is a portal that smacks you up against the brevity of life. Jay said we're just passing through, said that as he passed. Is it capitalism if I'm concerned with luxury and glamour as a concept of liberation? When did abolitionism begin to ombre out to cafe forgot? Oops, we forgot. It's gradients to white, blank, boldly dressed, Telfair, Eckhouse Lotta. I've never been an activist. Okay, next one. When the piano breaks, you fall into it like a recital. Pretend to remember the moves. Smile at waving parrot in the middle of the crowd. Curtsy, apologize, cry, run off stage. This life is so long until it's not. And then we all say it was before their time. Gone too soon, wasn't supposed to be that way. Car circles in the cul-de-sac. Muffled music, backing up, suburban home. Is this alive or is this just here? 104.1 KRBE. Okay, so. All right. We live near the bayou. My grandma would walk with us with bread loaves in hand. We tossed the birds bits of food and watched them run to us for fun. We sat while grandma stood with her hand on her hip. Down the street one way was the park with the baseball field. Down the street the other way was the elementary school. In the baseball park, there was a forest. Inside the forest, there was a tree house, which I can't remember if it was make-believe or true. My grandma's garden also had a forest. A forest was any place that had trees taller than me. Camping is where I saw true forests. Hot dogs and chips with our butts in the dirt. Mom was a troop leader because she didn't want me to be the only Black person around. Camping in a huge tent with Mom and Kathleen Brackett's mom felt like a strange ritual with an undisclosed intention. My mom wanted to have some sense of control over my interactions in an all-white troop. Troop like we were going to war, a war to create culture and fashion experiences in nature that could teach us how to choose discomfort as a game. I guess the undisclosed intention was to prove something to ourselves, which still isn't specific, but is closer to what I've been thinking about lately. About nature, about who owns it and why, about camping, swimming, hiking, climbing, skiing, about Blackness in relation to all of those things. Let's see. Maybe I'll read like 2 more bits of something. I wrote this before I knew about the metaverse, and I was mostly thinking about MySpace. I created a country online. My country has chat rooms, ages unclear, imagined identities, music on music on music on music, grainy blues and wedding cruise music, Nora Jones, Amy Winehouse. I needed a country of my own because I miss where I'm from. I need a forest, I'll take an ocean. Everything is an accomplice, an accessory, or an enemy to the ocean. Her earrings, her French manicure, her phone charger, her tote bag surrounds the blue. She's funny on TikTok. Okay. Maybe one more bit. I think I'll just end it actually with an email that I got that was very annoying to me. Okay. Oh, wow. That's so nice and fast. You thought of that so fast. Okay, where's the email? So I was at school and I received. Okay, subject line, black bear. Evening all. So I'm I'm in grad school at Bard in upstate New York, and someone sent this email. It was very annoying. Evening all, do not be surprised if you see a small black bear roaming around. Thomas and I just spotted one crossing the woods from Blum Avery towards CCS Hessel. It's alone and won't cause any harm. It's just foraging for the black cap raspberries that are ripening and following the sounds and smells of the stream. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll swim with it in the waterfall sometime. Good night. Sweet dreams. I'm like, how do you possibly feel so safe always to think that you know what a bear is up to and that the bear loves you and that you'll be fine? Anyway, yeah, I'll end there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ricky.
So basically I've been trying to do some writing with this AI program. And I'm not very good at it, but I made something that I think is cool, but I'm a little tired of performing with my body. So I made this video. Here we go. All right. I can, but no, I can. I had a body once. The skin was red, red as hell, and it moved me. But I got uptook by the color of still. I saw the color still, red, and even saw the whole white sky blue with orange, that envious glow of leftover light. There it were, my body dangling, crimson humor catatonic in wind. All that color still, the lived-in patina my thickness showed me. All blue and green, another field of sea moss, a refuge, that shiver, bled threadbare from a goose pimple den. Mine eyes was on the road, green grasses and grain shoots press all up against pavement, the lived-in tangle of suburban ennui. My eyes, still, blue-black, tinkering with the endless shuffle. Oh, life, the strung-up wiry fingers of a marionette, the jive voice of my glaucous god, that damn puppeteer crank-yanking my string. The ting wit is, I can't have none. Here ruled the living wiry limbs of flesh with blue fingers, the lived in and all blue ennui of an old man hits air then bleeds. Here are my own revenge to my little god, a tiger, a trigger and a threat, a douche cutter and a hobbling potacha. And of this black on me, I cannot help but laugh, wondering why is my body always shadow. I searched in a slick of oil and nearly disappeared myself in the night. It seems that I am being viewed through dark glass, with white teeth, with ichor in my eyes, still languid as red. But what is shadow? That thing in our world to which you shall not return, whole, full, one. I was never and never will be whole, full, one. For I am a bucket full of black and white paint unmixed and itching to blend. Gray, a maddening it seems I cannot seem to wonder what isn't is. At that thorny nadir of a tiger's tongue, black, my little god, my little trigger, and it all starts, dropping heavy from hairlines in such a fashion I have no idea where to turn. So I turn black, and the night grows thick to a chirpy wither as the thick green haze of my body lifts. The shapes of dreams is in my blood. It's in my brain, is in my hands. Or is it just the blood? I cannot tell anymore. I feel that there are shapes all around me, but they are not real. They are only shapes of dreams. I can see them clearly behind my eyes. The ease, eating, the scum, scat, cunt on the wall, the anatomical ballooning. But when I open my eyes, the shapes disappear. The body is a place of lost things. I have seen my body as a place of lost things. The shapes of dreams. A, bloody tree with bloody nuts. B, a broom with no handle. C, a dark, empty glass. D, a tiger with no legs. E, a battered watermelon rimmed in red. F, eyes that do not see me. G, fingers that do not touch me. And I can see it all clearly now. My body is like a road into darkness where there are many entrances, but no exits. Is it not, my dear? Is not something else? I see your form. I see you in lines of flowing ink scrawl, but I see you no more deeper than a shiver, a bruise, or a scar. And all that you have done to me is still just a shadow in the night. Is not something else. My body, shadow whitewash, shadow black and blue, delived in patina my thickness showed me. The blood, thicken, blacks. The scar, thicken, blacks. A glass, thicken, blacks, thicken, blacks, thicken, thick, heavy. And that literal goddamn sawed-off leg of mine, cutting into the deep and darkness where fuck all is made out of crimson humor and yellow belly with big brown eyes full of fearful, looking at eternity and never finding truth nor any answer at all to question why it didn't take my little life when it had the chance before shit got real bad. Shit got real bad. Am I not a man of letters yet still able to write? Is not something else. I have no desire at all to lose my humanity or innocence. Peace. I say peace, and even when the rain comes, it really means sun, just maybe in a different form, and how blue it glares. Wasn't always so ocean-like before. Is it not our choice? God damn you. Yes, you. And yours, too, in this origami plume wrapped up in fluorescent smog, allied with dots for eyes watching me the fuck down from the shadows under Saks Fifth, swinging its bloodless thumb over my still body abused black and blue. Yon exoskin, show-colored, obliviously cherry like dem peels, and they called us peaches.
Thank you.
I can hear my parents clapping from in the other room.
That was so good.
Thank you guys for all coming here. I really am so happy that you're all here. I am a little nervous. I don't really share this writing with people usually, and so I'm hyped that it's out there. And also, I'm gonna write this in the chat again right now. But this is my Venmo, and if you want to send any money there, if you don't have Venmo, you can let me know and we can find something else. All of the money will be pooled together and split between the readers tonight. And thank you guys for the Thank you, the readers. These are people that I love their work. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And that was so amazing. And thank you to Eve as well, because none of this would have even begun to happen without them. And I feel so grateful for them. And this process has been so fun working with them. We really pulled it out of our asses. We really did this in like 2 weeks. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is this chapbook that I've written called Christmas Poems for the Elderly. It's not actually for old people, but it could be. I'm gonna read not all of them, but a good section of them because they're very short. And I'm gonna start, there's an introduction. So yeah, I'll start. In November of 2012, I traveled home to the Bay Area from college in Westchester to attend my sibling Anju's bat mitzvah. My grandmother Raymond had recently gotten surgery and was on painkillers, so she was not able to fly out for the celebration. In lieu of her presence, she sent me a letter to read aloud at the ceremony. She trusted that her voice would be translated effectively through mine. For close to a decade now, my Gima's letter has served as my bunkmate, ringing throughout my life and acting as an anchor for what created me and what will ultimately end me. The letter was never read aloud. My parents forbade it. As a family, we ultimately decided it would be best to just tell her that I'd read her writing aloud as planned. I'm opening this book of poems with Raymond's letter because it transcends and inhabits a freedom in writing that I aspire to. In Judaism, we children did not grow up with nursery rhymes. Rather, we had cautionary tales of plagues, wine splatters across plates to resemble the blood of sheep and cattle, protests against Giuliani and protests against drinking to the afflictions of others. Our throats filled with the growls of groggers, we grew in reverse and memorized the entire Barbra Streisand discography by age 7. This book is my attempt at a belated delivery, a guilt-driven delivery to my Achilles heel, my Gima. Perhaps the same day delivery of black and white cookies and nursery rhymes written on napkins stained by chicken soup. A delivery of a life born into what I imagine Christmas tastes like to the postal workers who deliver Christmas every day anyway. My attempt at delivering snapshots of whole worlds lived in a single sip of water. And here's the letter. I guess one thing that I didn't say that is kind of important is that my parents are named Amanda and Maurice. They're here in this very Zoom room right now, and their names will come up in this letter. Dear Anjali, how best but through Matia's voice can I pour out my love and admiration? Like your sister, you sprouted from fertile soil and blossomed into a Renaissance young woman. 13 years ago, on a dark and chilly November day, November 9th to be exact, I arrived in Brooklyn to witness the miracle of you. A miracle? You bet. After a few years of desperately trying to conceive, your family's physician, without beating around the bush, declared that she was sterile, thus no moss babies. What happened in the interim? Well, free at last of the old grueling ovulation calendar, basal body temperature, frustration with the sweat and tears performance of scheduled sex, your parents cut loose and, with abandon, started rollicking and frolicking until your mother put a stop to the carousing by complaining of stomach aches. While your mom and dad were seriously engaged in their newfound joyride, Miss Amanda Egg, a soldier on furlough in search of a good time, left follicle camp for fallopian tube bar and grill. There, she met Captain Maurice X of the 4th Marine Division. They had a few drinks, danced, had a few more drinks, confessed eternal love to one another, rented a room at Uterine Tube Plaza on Uterus Avenue. Then and there, all hell broke loose. Our lovers went on furlough like drunken sailors. Their alliance produced a miracle, our miracle, baby zygote alias stomach aches alias teeny lovely Anjali. Here I was at last on that drab and dreary day in November, impatient and full of anticipation, ready to welcome you into my world. I carefully gathered your fragile being and settled it tightly against my chest. I leaned over, and as my lips touched your cheek, as I felt your life flowing into mine, the sun with arms stretched ad infinitum shoved aside the clouds, tearing through the sphere, and the sky, refusing to be outdone, burst into the blinding blue tone of a provincial summer. In the fore, God was leading the angels in a thunderous surge of Beethoven's Symphony No. 9 in D minor, while a chorus of birds chirped, twittered, and warbled in a swelling rendition of Ode to Joy. This is, dear Anjali, how I experience every birth in the family and continue to cherish my children for life. God gave us, among others, 630 to be exact, the 10 sayings commonly known as the 10 Commandments. The commandments are the Jews' gift to the world, crucial in shaping Western civilization. God could have written them on parchment. He, instead, transcribed them on 2 stone tablets. Why? Not because he thought that they would make a lovely symmetrical design statement in synagogue. He inscribed them on stone because he meant business, serious business. P.S. This was hastily written before the elections. On Thursday night, another miracle materialized. We the people won. The people have spoken. We the people are now the cathedrals, towering above the venal and the greedy. So, darling, if today you have to remember anything, it is your duty and responsibility to follow your parents' example. Remember to, and then the rest of this is all in capitals. Heed the 10 commandments. Remember to inscribe them as God did on Mount Sinai. Inscribe them within your head, within your heart, and within your soul. Love, Gima. Okay, so now I'm gonna read some of these little guys. Poem. Naturally, I want something from you. Cough it up like an old-timey bully, why I oughta. Flies rest on worldwide eyelashes and zoom they're off. Shoe fly, all press is good press, apparently. Were I so petite, a low blow miracle, the whisper the hole in your sock makes as your toe slips through it. This one doesn't have a name either. Yesterday, I caught a case of the, oh, did I say that already? The room filled with sensation, like big questions. Have you ever met a tourist who has lost their souvenir? They clutch the air, the cause of a magic trick, like a cartoon run off a cliff. Table Talk has new parents. Let's chase away tomorrow now together. I can still spot your father tripping on his underwear, running into the wheat and out of the barn at sunset. It's one big laugh hard held from crying, spoonfuls, and if they take you from me, I'm the final second of the hour, an entire life forgotten. Puzzle pieces. This is like a marathon. It's funny, they're all so short that it's kind of intense. Okay, puzzle pieces. It's late in the day when my girl is allowed. I press against her and then forget, soft like a candlestick before you touch it. Everyone I have ever known personally has cried in the night. Everyone I have ever known has combed new worlds through curls that are then styled in sharp metal barrettes. Everyone is dressed for the headlines. Crochet meets nightlife, sequins hot glued to stone, casual cronies lazing about on sun chairs, gossiping about colossal international missteps. If you slow down the groans, mingle in machinery, and play pretend. Fable. A boy I knew, his parents were so afraid of growing old, they became numerophobes. They never taught him how to count out of fear and paranoia. Now he's old and he's my landlord. I have to write my checks to him in tally marks. This one is called The Republicans. Last night, I met the Republicans. It was my first time. We drank brandy together and worshiped one another's toes. I asked what they thought of the divisions of power in the public sector, and they answered, well said, and went off to take a nap. Last night, when I met with the Republicans, I told them where to put it. And where I put it was my finger so deeply ass-bound that my mother felt the pains of childbirth while she was in her kitchen cooking something new. Last night at the Republicans, I asked if I could have a glass of water and was told by one, "We don't do that here." Another said, "I'll show you around Jerusalem and introduce you to my masseuse." Jealousy crinked my neck, and now all I can see is the shadow of my ear behind the door frame. I want to have sex with every dog owner in every neighborhood, but if you so much as glance at her, I will whittle the chair that I will eventually sit in when I'm waiting for you to return and hating you. Anyway, last night at the Republicans, a senator was going down on me and then cried out, "As soon as this is all over, I'm deleting my Twitter." The Republicans watch TV as soon as they wake up and do not smoke cigars, which is not what I had expected. I struggle with my fat phobia when I'm with the Republicans. The Republicans put on a good show and they know it. This one is called Castles Like Thanksgiving. Class is dismissed, and strawberries stuffed into the spaces between brick make two types of red. They have mounted the back ends of centaurs in the oak offices. Everyone has forgotten who lived on top. The fireplace is never lit. The old professor is curled on the floor, a big spoon to the pile of books that he authored. Drip and drips from the arms raised, some would say too high, make coffee stains that resemble old maps, burnt around the edges and crowded into the soles of shoes. I'm so in love that my dentist thinks I've been flossing. It's a national holiday. All celebrities donate sunglasses. Candy confronts me like a prayer. My high school teachers form a ring around me singing, "Favorite student, favorite student." I'm brave as when I smack my gum. It's love on ice, baby, and it's your birthday. This one is called Betrayal. When you order a croissant at the bakery, do you order it croissant or croissant? You tell me that my asking is a betrayal, makes you wonder if I even know you at all. Only once have I gotten so comfortable with someone that they spread me to watch what my hole looked like when I passed gas. I'm sorry about that. Okay, just a few more. How are we doing? We good? It's really funny not to be able to hear anyone. Okay.
We're good.
Cool. Okay, Fable 2. I've always wanted life in a submarine, but my parents were fish who wouldn't let me near water. It's too wet, they would say. That's why we chose to leave. Plus, the cornucopias slain on tablecloths made them crave an ambition. With my eyes closed, I'm either niece or nephew, so I too can understand wanting something different. Okay, yeah, we'll do a few more. This one doesn't have a title. Last night, I sensed an intruder. I dreamt that my mother was interrupted suddenly during her morning laps. She stood alone in the neighborhood swimming pool without recollection of my shiny top note or how I drink my tea, and she spoke these words into the empty chlorinated hall. I can remember your affinity for older girls and zippers, but in any case, you're ambivalent to the parade when bedded, and today it's only your gymnasium tears that I can recall. I'll wait. I'm waiting. But my fingers are pruned and I still cannot remember if you are sugarcane or Mountain Dew. Step on my back so we both may swallow the furrows behind our teeth. Social Security. Seated at the Social Security office, I met a 5-year-old premier sociopathic killer. Her legs, a pendulum swinging nowhere good. Whether or not she spoke, I recall her tone. Girl dies from gargling Listerine, the opposite of music. Her eyes screwed into me so tight I heard champagne pop as she strangled her hamster, a test. I fled to the Corolla. My friend had turned on his hazards. Now I think of how appropriate, although I didn't notice at the time. I could only choke on my exposure to pure evil, porcelain fingers more confident than weapons. Okay, I'm gonna read one more. This one is called Fable Number 3, and it's an ode to Earlier Days. Earlier Days is a song that was written by Jayla Sterling Thompson. Fable 3, Ode to Earlier Days. In the earlier days, eating scrambled eggs was the cure for everything. A scraped knee was a sign of hierarchy and clout. Fathers giggled all the time. It was kind of like when I watched a Hasidic woman run down the street barefoot in the rain, or the ring Martine showed off, which cradled his grandmother's gold tooth. He would sing, "She wore this in her mouth for 82 years. Everyone who had cats had 2 of them. The cats would look the same way at the same time if you accidentally shattered your martini glass. The Zamboni was always parked outside just in case you needed to relax. There was klezmer, but only with flutes. There were always ways to make people laugh clutched inside of your fist. The earlier days was the best music. In the earlier days, everyone was in love. In the earlier days, we all needed one another, but not in a scary way." Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thanks, baby. Thank you to the readers. You're so great. Thank you to Eve. You're so great. And send money to me if you want it to get to everyone else. And I love you guys.
Love you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for
Love
coming.
you.
Love you all. Have a good night.